I went 14 days without social media and my screen time barely dropped. Let me show you what I mean. This is the week before, this is after. So we got 6 hours, and then the week after that, 7 hours 41, right? So basically, what I did in part one was I told you guys I'm going to Canada, and I'm going to go on a trip, and I'm going to do a lot of reflection, and I'm going to get off Instagram and TikTok. Scrolling reels, because that's the biggest problem that I have, and I feel like that was the biggest time suck that I have. So I think the biggest issue with social media is consumption, and it's not creation. I feel like creation comes with creativity, and for me, it comes with a lot of reflection and learning and teaching you guys what I learn, and that's sort of what I aim to do with my YouTube channel, right? So basically, I screen time blocked these apps in 3 different ways. I did it with Duolingo, which means I had to do Duolingo before I could open them. I did it with Opal, which is a screen time blocker, and I did it with my screen time on my phone. So basically, I didn't click on them at all. I didn't go on them at all. And I actually found an app that I use now that I'm back home that really helps cut down my screen time usage, but I'm still able to stay in the loop in the way that I want to be. Okay, so let's get to the reflection and what I actually learned, right? So the first thing that I noticed was just first getting to the airport. I was sitting there, and there were kids. There was one kid pushing another kid on like a trolley, and I was thinking about, wow, like all the fun that I used to have as a kid when I was off my phone and I was just sort of just being bored, right? Like when we were kids, we would find literally anything to do, and especially because I had an older brother, we would always find some reason to fight, or we'd find something active to do or something that would piss my parents off, but we were having fun, right? And it wasn't brain sapping. It was actually us living in the present moment, and that's kind of something to be expected when you have kids, right? So they couldn't really be mad. But just sitting there, I was playing my music because I enjoy music way too much to cut myself off from that. Even if you don't believe that's a real dopamine detox, then you can click off. I feel like the dopamine detox for me was just getting off social media and seeing like what a difference that made in my life, and like how I felt about missing out about stuff, and how I felt about, because I feel like we spend so much time scrolling because it's so easy to. When you get focused on scrolling, you can scroll for hours at a time without even realizing it. And while I'm not at that point anymore, I once was, and I would still have an hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours on Instagram a day. And now that I'm back here, I've cut it down to 10 minutes, and I can show you guys this one tip at the end. So basically, yeah, I immediately noticed myself enjoying little things like seeing a cute dog while I was walking around that I wouldn't have noticed. I noticed myself listening to like the rhythm of the music and listening to the lyrics a lot more, finding a lot more meaning, and that was kind of immediately, right? So I never really had a sense of discomfort without this social media, and I think part of it was because I was in such a new area that I could just cut it off. And I think the thing that you can pull away from this is when you go into a new environment, you can completely change your identity, and it's not near as hard. And that's why doing something different, like moving out of your hometown, like for me, it was going to college, right? Like moving there, I was able to almost completely rewire my identity and make myself this social kind of person, and talk to people like I'd been a super friendly guy my whole life, and I'd always gone up and talked to people. But basically, what I'm saying is that if you go somewhere new, you can rewire your mind to think, okay, now I am not a person who goes on social media at all. And because you're in this new environment, you don't fall back into these old habits, and it's so much easier to keep new ones. And I think that's part of what made it really easy for me. And a lot of it was just because I was outside, right? I was hiking around, I was able to really enjoy the nature. And yeah, I was really able to enjoy the beauty of the area, and I'm so glad I did it because of that. Like, I feel like whenever you go on vacation or you experience a new place, you shouldn't be cooped up in your room looking at your phone. You should be trying to find out everything you can do, everything you can try. Even if it's just walking around one of the main areas, you can see the differences. If you talk to people, you learn about them. I talked to a bunch of Canadian dudes and learned about how much they love hockey and how hockey people just fight each other and then they're cool and they're just bros. And I thought that was super interesting. But yeah, so now I need to address the fact that my screen time barely moved. And before that, my average was 9 hours a day. And I think it's counting both on my laptop and my phone, because it's very confusing how it adds all this up. Like, I think there's like a gray meter and it shows me what's on my computer or something, but as you can see, I had 8 hours 27 minutes on Instagram. And the next week I had 11 hours on photos. So, and edits as well. One of the main things that I noticed is that I kept going back to my phone as a crutch for boredom, right? But I felt like I was doing it in a more productive way, in a way that made me happier. And what I was doing, because most of the time I was actually offline and didn't have data, is I was cleaning stuff out of my camera roll. I've always loved to document my life, so I always take a bunch of pictures, videos. I had like 15,000 or something from 2020 to 2026. And yeah, so I was just going through clearing photos, but it just brought back all these old memories and really made me think about how my life used to be and how it is now. And it just felt like a really good thing to do. Like, I felt like I was using my time a lot more productively, but it wasn't really like a big time sink. It was more like if I had downtime, like I wasn't going out on a hike or something, or the rest of my family was watching TV or something, or I was on the flight, right? I was just sort of deleting stuff out of my camera roll, or I was editing footage and putting together vlogs from my trips that I've been on. Something that I read recently was that one of the best ways to like enhance your life is by enhancing the quality of your memories, because a lot of the time you forget your experiences that you've had. And so one of the ways that I like to do this is by creating just basically video montages of certain things that I've done. Like, I went on a hike in one of the prettiest places I've ever been. It's in Northern California. Um, and I basically just made like a little montage, and it was just us walking around and talking with each other, and just me and my friends. And it makes me really happy every single time I look back on it. I synced it up to a song and everything. But yeah, you can get a lot of value out of making photo albums or making videos out of your memories, because then you have these memory dividends that you can kind of look back on and you can say, wow, my life has been great, right? And it's much easier to look at than it is to scroll through 200 pictures. And that's part of why I clean them out as well. But yeah, so I wanted to ask myself if I feel like the screen time usage that I had was actually different. And I don't know. I think it's up to you guys to answer, but I felt like it was in a much more productive way. Although I tend to justify a lot of stuff to myself like that. But yeah, I feel like the real like insight and what you can get if you were to take a break off of social media is just the presence that you can get and slowing down, right? I felt like I was able to sit and enjoy meals much more with my family, and conversations that I had with new people, or the hikes that I was on. I had my phone in my bag the majority of the time because I have Ray-Ban Metas, and so I can just take videos and take pictures right there on the glasses. It's awesome. But I feel like I did experience boredom every once in a while, and I spent a lot more time reading like I wanted to. Although it wasn't as much as I honestly expected, because I did spend a lot of time on my phone doing stuff like cleaning my camera roll or reflecting on myself and what I want to do with my content. Um, but yeah, I feel like just presence, having like enjoying all the moments that you have throughout the day, you enjoy them much more when you're not on social media and you can't give yourself this constant dopamine, right? If you can't get something new every 15 seconds, you're going to enjoy the real stuff that happens in your life. Whether it's literally just sitting down and eating with your family and having a conversation, or seeing a dog in public and giving him pets or whatever, it just made me so happy. And yeah, now that I'm back, I basically just got Instagram back when I got back from the airport, and my brother had posted on Instagram for his Canada post or whatever, and so I was like, all right, I gotta download it, I gotta make my post. And for a couple days, it was almost just right back to normal, because I really felt like I wasn't super addicted to my phone previously. Like I had an hour on Instagram, but it just immediately came back, and it's because it's built into these apps. It's so built in. They wire these apps around addiction, and it's insane. Like how much the grab is. Like if you just it, like I've seen so many of my friends, and I've talked to so many of my friends about this, and how you just are sitting there, and then somehow you ended up on Instagram, and you're sitting there in the gym, and you're just like, it's like a brain, like how the hell did I end up on Instagram? What do I even want out of this? What am I doing here? And the answer is it's addictive. It's so addictive, and it's meant to be addictive. And so you just automatically click on it, and you see, oh, one of my friends posted, right? But it isn't like, it doesn't even register in your brain, because you've seen it so many times and it's just so regular to you. But that's how you sap hours away, is because people don't notice it anymore. But yeah. So the solution that I've found for spending much more time off Instagram is an app that I found, that's actually I found through Instagram. Let me show you guys it right now. Basically, it's called Social Light. Let me show you. It's called Social Light. You can look it up on the App Store. They do have premium, but it's free. It's free to get. It's free to block Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever you spend the most time on scrolling on. And the way that it doesn't keep you out of the loop, and you can still access these apps in a way where you're not constantly yearning to be on there, and you're not constantly scrolling for constant dopamine, is basically it just blocks the Reels tab. Like on Instagram, it blocks the Reels tab. On TikTok, it blocks the scrolling tab. YouTube, it blocks the Shorts tab. And it has a timer at the top. It tells you how long you've been on there. And so you can see physically how much time you're wasting, right? And I think that's a super helpful feature that they've added in. But yeah, the number one thing is you can't scroll Reels. And if somebody sends you a Reel or whatever, you can check it out. So let's say your homie sends you a Reel, and you want to be in the loop, right? You want to be in on the joke. Um, and you can't see it unless you see what he sent to you, right? And you sort of want to still see what your friends are posting, right? You want to see what they're up to. And I don't think that's that big of a problem anymore. Like, unless you have crazy FOMO, or I don't know, you feel like you're not doing enough with your life when you compare yourself to others. But I think that's a topic for a different story. And yeah. But basically, it's super simple. You just download it. It's free. It'll block your Reels tab. It'll block your TikTok scroll tab. But you can still engage with people in the way you want to, and you can talk with the people you follow or whatever, and you can still talk to girls on Instagram if you're worried about that or whatever. But yeah, I feel like that's made a big difference in how I spend my time, because I'll still automatically go click on Instagram, right? And I've only spent 10 minutes on there today. And that's from looking at my friends' stories or seeing what my friends have sent me, right? And that's so much of a difference from an hour and a half. And I thought this hour and a half was somehow all productive. But no, you get distracted so easily. And sometimes when I go click on there, it doesn't even like, I don't even want to go on Instagram because I think about it for a second. I'm like, okay, like what do I need to go on here for? What do I need to see? And I feel like that's a lot of what you need to do, is just reflect before you go on social media. And while it's hard, there's a lot of screen time blockers that'll help you with this, and I think this one has been the most helpful for me so far. But yeah, I feel like this detox taught me a lot, just in the way that it taught me how to be bored again, like I wanted. And it basically just gave me a lot more time to focus on the stuff that I actually want to focus on, whether that's reflection, whether that's editing and making YouTube videos, or working out, or hiking, or spending time with my family, or trying to make new connections, right? It just didn't sap away my free time in that same way, and that's been super helpful for me. But yeah, I think I remembered how to be bored, and I'm just not rushing to forget it again. Like, I feel like I can move much more slow now, and that's very satisfying for me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, please leave a like and let me know, because I have no idea if people are actually watching these. I'm just kind of putting them out there and hoping that I can help my younger self if someone like me sees this video. So yeah, download this app. It's a big help. And take some time to enjoy the real world. Yeah. Peace out, guys.